of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? Now I'm going to try and turn up a volume somewhere. Hello, hello. Is that a little better? No? Okay. That's good. Got to find the second one here. 1, 2. Let's try that one. Channels 1 and 2. Okay. Now that I've been speaking in my ear, very good. Our invocation today is by Mike Roberts.
Let us bow our heads in our own belief and say, thank you, Lord, for this Monday following Thanksgiving. We thank you for the time we shared with our family and our friends. We thank you for the food that you provided. We thank you for the pilgrims that came here to form a new country so many years ago. We thank you for all of those military service people who sacrificed for themselves and their families so that we may have freedom. We give you thanks in all that you do for us. We thank you for this day and the meeting of this club. May we go out and make a difference in this community this week. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. And now, President-elect Marion Beckering for visiting Rotarians and guests.
Thanks, Ruth. Okay, we'd like to welcome back Zach Agate. Where are you, Zach? Welcome. A guest of Randy Sweeney and soon to be a Rotarian. We'd also like to welcome back Jen Swansluce. Where's Jen? There you are. Welcome. And last but certainly not least, and a first-time guest for us here is Galena Dupa Weaver. Thank you with Mary Schiller. Thank you for being here.
It's so wonderful to see so many people here today. The festiveness of the tables, so that it just seems to be a wonderful time to be thinking about both what we're thankful for and what we hope to be doing in the future. I did want to let you know that the venue task group, I'm not exactly sure how we call it, but anyhow, led by our own Mike Roberts, has been working diligently. So they have heard your concerns. They have visited 11 prospective venues and are measuring them to see which ones best might meet our needs. They hope to have the results of their search by this week, I think I can say, right, Mike? Thumbs up. By this week to report to you, since any change in venue would require a member vote, and our current contract is up at the end of December. So I really appreciate that this committee, this group has really taken the bull by the horns and have really been working on it. Thank you so much. John Healy, who is chair of our nominating committee, has asked me to announce that we are still looking for a nominee for secretary for the club, and that anyone interested should let him know. We do have a job description. You know, you don't have to be Lisa Goodell Jr. immediately. We will help you. We will help make this happen. She is one that has been doing it for many years and really knows all the ropes, and she's not going away anywhere. So really, I encourage you, if it's something, it's something that's of extreme importance to our club, but it's not something you have to do alone. So please think about it seriously. Be secretary of the club. Let's see, our annual meeting will be December 18th. I know this is the middle of the holiday season, but it's in our bylaws that we have to have the annual meeting at the first regular meeting in December. So that's when it is. And we have to have a quorum in order to have the annual meeting. So we really need you to mark December 18th on your calendars and come here and help us and to recognize the people who are stepping up to take leadership roles in the club. So please come and do that. Joni's got something to say?
I think I lied to all of you who have birthdays in December. We won't be celebrating your birth on the 4th of December because we're all going to be singing a cappella. So it will probably be the 11th. They aren't meeting the 11th. So when are we? I don't know when we're going to do it. All right. So come for your birthday on the 18th, and I will describe you in 8 words or less. It's worth it.
And if you want to know, if you want to give her those words so that you won't be surprised, you can do that too. All right. So yes, no meeting the 11th, the 25th, or January 1st. So please plan to attend on the 18th. The membership committee will be considering an engagement pledge for the club when we meet right after this meeting. And so we are encouraging you, continue to encourage you to let Lisa know about makeups that you might do. So this is something that we know you're active and we want to recognize that and appreciate that. So please, it's a real hard email to remember. It's Rotary, JNY for Jamestown, New York, and she is SEC for secretary @gmail.com. Please let her know any makeups that you do, any committee meetings, anything that you do, that bell ringing, all those things. All right. A wonderful, huge thank you to Sharon Hamilton for doing today's Rotary. Where is she? Woo! All right. So on December 4th, as Joni's already alluded to, it is our annual a cappella lunch. It will be at First Lutheran Church, and it will be early. So because the kids sing for us at noon. So the registration will start at 11. Lunch, I believe, will be at 11:15. I haven't gotten Vicky. Okay. And then, so we request that you be there. It will be $15 per person, as it always has been, so that you can invite friends and family. But if you are so inclined, the actual cost to us, each person, is about $25. I'm not going to call it a donation because it is, you are actually paying for what it's worth if you pay $25. Just putting that in your thought process. Are there any additional announcements? I know there are additional announcements.
Hello, everybody. I'm just wanting draw your attention to the flyers on your table about the holiday party coming up on Saturday, December 9th. There's more information on the back of the page, describes what we're doing. We're going to try a little gift exchange this year as an activity to mingle and be with each other instead of just eating and going. And so if you'd like to participate in that, and I hope that anyone who comes would, just bring a wrapped gift valued between $10 and $15, and we'll do that activity during the event as well. So there was a sign-up sheet coming around. If you know that you can make it, you can sign up today. Otherwise, you can email or send me a text before next Monday so that we can plan the meal. So thank you.
And also, if you've forgotten, before that party during the day, we will have our mini golf bar crawl. So get a team of 4, come out, registration at 12:30 the day of.
And put it on your Facebook page. Let people know. We really love to have a great turnout. So it's a chance to go where? Shawbucks. Starts at the ice arena. Well, you can go. Yeah, sure. Beer Snob Pub in Brazil. So you might, since you've got several hours, you might want to arrange to spend some time at one of those places. So thank you so much for organizing that, Max. Do you need any help? Okay, sending out a volunteer list soon. Great. Let's see. Let's see. Where is our Sergeant at Arms? Doug Conroe. You want to do 50-50 first? I've got it going backwards here. So we'll do 50-50 first.
50-50 is 104, half of which is 42. There's a rake. Come on. Would you pick a winning ticket for us? Oh, no, that was good. Yeah, we're going to go to a new. You're going to pick a winning ticket. You are. And what did I promise everybody that bought a ticket? There was one winning ticket in this bucket. And the winner is. Last four numbers are 0622. 0622. Congratulations.
Ah, we have the bucket. Okay. We're ready to go. There we are. Another great day. Well, we're going to start it off here with about 12 bucks. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Vicki, Randy, Amy, and Dewey for having to leave early today, and appreciate your helping out the bucket greatly.
Not thank you for having to leave early, but thank you for helping out.
For helping out.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay. There are some recognitions here. And Amy put in, and she's featured in today's Gazette, Northwest Bank, $5,000 to the United Way Fund. Okay. Okay, great. And okay, I see Tori in the room, and I'm sure she wants to talk about Giving Tuesday, which is tomorrow, which is an important event for community organizations. And it's so important that we also want Greg and Sue Jones to come up, because they have put forward a match for the JCC Foundation on Giving Tuesday.
It's not often that Doug Conroe takes me by surprise, but he did right now. So I would say tomorrow, give early, give often, find something that you care about and give. You probably have an inbox full of email encouragement, we'll call it. And this challenge from the Joneses is just one example of where nonprofits are trying to encourage people to give. So give to something.
So my conscience hit me when I wasn't thinking, and I got a phone call, said, could you support the fund drive? I said, how would you want me to do that? And she goes, well, maybe you could match up to $1,000. And so I did. So please contribute. And if you give $100, it'll probably be $200. Thank you.
And thank you. Okay. I believe we have a chamber executive here. And also, I don't see Courtney in the room. Courtney is being elected secretary of the chamber. I see Vicki McGraw, or I saw Vicki McGraw, who is a board member. Good things happening. John?
That's it. We've got our slate of officers was announced in the weekend paper and everything. So thank you to the folks Doug mentioned, Vicki and John here with us today. I don't think I'm missing anybody, but please join us for our annual meeting December 8th, I believe it's Friday, over at Moonbrook. And our speaker is Comptroller Tom DiNapoli. So we're excited to have the comptroller in the room. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And we also have a television personality in the room. I've lost track of him. Is he behind a pillar? And oh, yes. And he wants to come up because also Penn State won last weekend. Did it not, John? Penn State won. But here, Mr. Stair Chair Lift Personality, you'll see on Spectrum all the time, both Mr. and Mrs. Lloyd. So great television personality there. And you missed a couple meetings. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. And that's about it. I could ask a couple questions about Rotarian Magazine, but I think we're doing pretty good today, so we'll keep on going. If we have any Chautauqua Lake School District presidents here, the ladies took a state volleyball championship, which is a great achievement. And I'm sure you'd want to recognize that. And as I mentioned, Penn State, as John, this past weekend, Kentucky, Michigan, Notre Dame. I keep looking for Mike Moots. Cortland, and some mid-state school, Syracuse. Okay, and thank you. And Ruth, perhaps happy bucks? None today?
No,
Oh, here comes
no one
one.
had a good.
For a couple of weeks, I've been busy at work and then on vacation, which is always lovely. I also want to give another happy buck because of our speaker today, Dr. Gosain, one of our favorite people in the community, and just very pleased to have him here today. So I also want to give a happy buck because Syracuse won. My late husband was an SU graduate, so thanks for filling me in. And also a happy buck to Tim Edbort because he had some good news in the past couple of weeks with his wife's surgery. So.
I am giving a happy buck because I have a new 5th child just moved into our house. Where'd he go? Is he in the bathroom maybe? I guess he no longer wants to live with us, but no. So Joaquin came to live with us on Tuesday, so he'll be with us until April sometime, and we are happy to have him as part of our family.
One more time for me, a happy buck for a very successful Small Business Saturday. We were talking on our staff meeting this morning. I don't think Black Friday exists anymore. That's a thing of the past, but Small Business Saturday is going strong. Everywhere we went, we heard the same thing. Our first stop, the store was outpacing last year's Small Business Saturday midway through the day, which was their biggest day ever. So please don't forget the rest of the holiday year, support our local businesses.
Thanks, Dan. And I just want to say I've got a happy 20 for the last 6 months of hit and miss here. So I'm really excited, and to echo what Kristen just said, and also for our speakers. So real excited to hear him. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me and being part of such an honorary organization. So thank you for picking that and appreciate it again.
Great chance. Yes, very good. So thank you all, and it's my pleasure to ask Kristen Melville to come up and introduce our speaker for today.
So most of you have become familiar with our guest speaker today. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Rohit Gosain, medical oncologist and hematologist, who is the chair of the Department of Hematology and Oncology at the UPMC Hillman Cancer Center, located at UPMC Chautauqua, as today's luncheon speaker. Dr. Gosain is a graduate of the University of Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, in computer engineering. We'll have to ask him about that. He pursued a doctor of medicine at Sabah University of Medicine, Sabah, West Indies. He completed his intern medicine residency at Sinai Hospital, Baltimore Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, and fellowship. Hematology Oncology Fellowship at Roswell Park Cancer Institute, University of Buffalo. He is a member of honorary and professional societies and has received notable honors and awards. He has authored medical publications and articles on the treatment of cancer, immunotherapy, among others, along with his brother, Raul Gosain, MD, medical director at Wilmot Cancer Institute at the University of Rochester Medical Center. They developed the Oncology Brothers, an information site which offers their perspectives on the newest oncology developments and cancer treatments, bridging the gap between community hematology, oncology practice, and the academic world, so all patients receive the most advanced treatment right at their doorstep. Pleased to introduce Dr. Gosain as our luncheon speaker.
Well, computer engineering skills were definitely coming in handy. Thank you so much for those kind words, Kristen. And it is truly an honor to be part of such an incredible organization. I did not know much about this prior to coming in, but learning more about what the initiative is and how it benefits the community. Thank you so much for all what you do. My name is Rohit Gosain. I am the medical chair of Hematology Oncology Department at UPMC Chautauqua Hospital, UPMC Hillman Cancer Center. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the C word, cancer, an unfortunate diagnosis which truly scares the strongest human within us. And it is changing by the minute. I'm a community hematologist oncologist. What that entails is treating iron deficiency anemia, B12 deficiency, followed by breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer, and much more. Alrighty, is it better? Oh God, so sorry about that. Part of the disclosures, my brother and I have a Twitter handle and a podcast called Oncology Brothers. And the motive for this is to bridge the gap between community and academia, because the field is changing by the minute. So in order to educate the community oncologists so they can provide the best care for their patients closer to home. So the roadmap of what we will be talking about today, what exactly is cancer? Followed by what causes cancer, some of the lifestyle factors, genetic mutations, and then we'll talk about the types of cancer that exist. And then following that will be the treatments, where we stand today, and how artificial intelligence is making things rather more efficient for the society. And then in the end, we will close with preventative measures one can take where you don't even have to come and see an oncologist. What is cancer? Cancer is when a normal cell undergoes genetic changes that could be anything environmental, age-related, or lifestyle, which can turn into a cancer cell. And now multiplication of this can turn into malignancy. Now this malignancy, when it goes to different parts of the body, makes it metastatic. The causes of cancer. One is genetics, inherited mutations. For example, what Angelina Jolie has is BRCA1, BRCA1 mutation. There are other mutations like that, P10, FAP, and multiple more. BRCA mutation causes breast cancer, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer. So these mutations can put one at increased risk for cancer. She underwent bilateral mastectomies as well as bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy. What I mean by these terms is she had both her breasts removed along with ovaries and fallopian tubes. And the reason for that is to protect herself or prevent from cancer even starting to grow there. Other possible causes are tobacco chewing, smoking, alcohol. Tobacco chewing and smoking can cause esophageal cancer, gastric cancer, lung cancer, kidney cancer, while alcohol can cause pancreatic cancer and liver cancer. Diving into other causes, infections, human papillomavirus or HPV can cause head and neck cancer as well as anal cancer. Other viruses like hepatitis B and C can cause liver cancer. Now, other potential causes could be the chemotherapy one might have received from prior cancer causes secondary malignancies at a later time. Radiation exposure from frequent CAT scan imaging or people who are working in that environment can result in getting cancer at later times. Age-related changes, that is, as we age, for example, our bone marrow, which is the factory where cells are made, sits deep in our bones, up here in our chest bone, in our hip bone. This is where red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets are made. Now, as we age, bone marrow ages along with that, and we can acquire mutations. These mutations can make dysplastic or not normal looking cells, which are cancerous, and body recognizes them as foreign. So those are age-related cancers. Environmental, respected veterans go through so much of that exposure through nuclear weapons. So a lot of these factors, asbestos from construction, so those are potential causes of cancer. Types of cancer, the most common in female is breast. In males is prostate, followed by lung and colorectal in entire white population. Diving into the numbers, these numbers are staggering, and this is only increasing, and not because that we have more risk factors. This is because we have better screening modalities. So we are detecting a lot of this patient population much earlier. At UPMC Chicago Hospital, we have lung cancer screening, breast cancer screening, so we are able to detect these cancers at much earlier age. And I would highly recommend, whether you go to any institute, to stay up to date with your screening modalities. There is colon cancer screening, prostate cancer, lung cancer, and breast cancer screening available, so one can avoid getting cancer. Talking about the history of cancer and the treatment. So the diagnosis of cancer and the talk about cancer goes back to like 1,000 years from ancient Egypt. But the two key milestones from the treatment standpoint stands in 1800 when radiation came into existence, and then chemotherapeutic revolution started in 1940s. And now we are in the era of personalized medicine, which is immunotherapy, targeted therapy. Just in last year, in 2022, there were 40 drug approvals in oncology alone. This is just something that I came across a screenshot from 2018, and this is just hematological landscape. Not talking about breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer. This is just purely hematological. And this is only getting more complicated. Yes, it's a good problem to have, but keeping up to date is very, very hard. As a result, one has to stay educated, and more importantly, patients also have to stay educated in order to get the right treatment. This is what stage 4 lung cancer treatment paradigm looked like in 2007, 2008. This is stage 4. There's stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4 is when the cancer has left the primary site and gone elsewhere. The time of existence for human with this treatment was less than 8 to 9 months. This is what the paradigm looks like in stage 4 non-small cell lung cancer, which is a type of lung cancer today in stage 4 setting. These are all the targeted therapy approvals, immunotherapy approvals. There was one approval just about last week, and within about past month, there have been 4 new drug approvals in stage 4 setting. Patients are living much longer. Yes, we are not where we want to be, but we are heading there slowly. We're talking about the future of cancer. Immunotherapy. Immunotherapy is something that we are taking the brakes off the immune system. Immune system itself fights the cancer in that sense, where you might have seen the advertisements for Keytruda or pembrolizumab or Opdivo. So what we are trying to do is immune system itself fighting the cancer and curing patient in stage 4 setting, which was unheard of, especially talking about stage 4. Targeted therapy. Targeted therapy is something where the cancer itself has mutations. So it is telling us that this is the mutation it has, and now we have the drugs available to attack that particular cancer. So I'll just go back here. If you look at, just take there. I'd like to point out to EGFR, where the treatment osimertinib, this is a targeted therapy. First, as I mentioned, the chemotherapy was offering patients about 9 months. Osimertinib alone offers patients anywhere from 18 to 24 months, and this is again in stage 4 setting. So I would like to pause here to tell whether you have ever suffered from cancer or you know any relative. Please talk to your physicians if there are any targetable mutations that are available and that has been ruled out. Because if one does not get targeted mutation, one is being deprived of an essential therapy. And this goes in all sorts of cancer: breast cancer, colon cancer, esophageal cancer, etc. This advancement is not just limited to medical field, but also to radiation aspect of it as well. There are beam therapy, beam radiation, which is more specific, and proton beam is even more specific, where the side effects that are caused by any of these medications is much less from what they used to be. This also stems into the world of surgery, with minimally invasive surgery procedures available, robotics available, which is decreasing the time of one has to spend in the hospital and causing less complications. Now, combining that with artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is transforming the world significantly. That includes medicine as well. Patients are being detected using some of the artificial intelligence CNN, which is convolutional neural network models, where patients are being diagnosed much more faster and efficiently, where some of the times the radiologist or pathologist would be questioning the diagnosis. Yes, this has its pitfalls, which is some of the biases, because if the training model is used to one particular type, then one has to validate, and that has to happen with some of these models. Adversarial attacks, because if the hackers can have access to it, one can lead to an inaccurate diagnosis or a false positive diagnosis. I know the notion has been that artificial intelligence will replace humans or physicians. I wouldn't say that is the case. What I think is the case is that physicians or humans will be replaced who do not embrace artificial intelligence. Now, cancer survival rates, they are in 90s in breast cancer, prostate cancer, skin cancer. They are much higher in the most common type of lung cancer as well. However, there is a small set which is called small cell lung cancer, where we are still struggling and not too many treatment options are available. Same thing exists for unfortunate cases of pancreatic cancer or liver cancer. Yes, we can get excited about what we have achieved so far, but there's still a long way to go. So before we even get to cancer, let's not even talk about getting there, because we can avoid getting there by some of the things that you can do. That is, quit smoking, limit the alcohol intake, also stay healthy with much more exercise, eating the right amount of food, and staying on top of your screening modalities. Please, I can't stress the importance of this, whether that's breast cancer, cervical or endometrial cancer, and lung cancer, colon cancer. There are tools that are available, or radiological modalities that are available, where we can avoid getting to the cancer stage. So yes, there is a lot of stuff to be excited about because of the fact that there are much more treatment options available, but there is quite a bit of ways to go. As we've seen with pancreatic cancer and liver cancer, we don't have too many treatment options, but we together want to make sure that we have a lot more birthdays to celebrate for future generations by doing the right thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And so does anyone have any questions?
Cause of death is occasionally not the cancer, but the cost of treatment. What sort of research is being done in that realm to make it actually affordable for people of every kind?
Very excellent question. And the sad part about all this is when we talk about these exciting trials, we can only achieve success if it is someone that everyone gets access to. That's where, when we as institute have to reach out when, for example, a drug is not approved for a certain case, or the insurance company is given problem, in that case, we do reach out to the social worker. There are sort of the resources available in each hospital, as we have a UPMC Hillman Cancer Center as well, to have access in these dire circumstances where they will cover the cost. Of course, the foundation that exists as well, the WCA Foundation. So there are multiple resources like that available. Also, the pharmaceutical companies have compassionate approvals available in those settings too. But yes, it is a dire situation and a sad situation.
Of all the medical specialties that are out there, what led you to oncology?
Well, I've been fortunate enough where I've not seen any personal family member go through this. But during my clinical research at Roswell Park, as well as Johns Hopkins, I was able to interact with patients and their family, and no other field, whether you take cardiology, my wife is training to be a gastroenterologist. Everyone is much more focused on their particular field, while oncology is the only one which provides this entire person experience. And not just the patient itself, you get tied in with their family as well. And I always thought that I was able to connect to them. I could sit down with their patients and their families forever and can make sure that when they walk out, they are going with some hope and not false hope at the end of the day. So
I read an article yesterday about people, mostly wealthy, who are requesting and getting full body scans for diagnostic purposes. Is that helpful?
yes and no. Sure, you could diagnose some of these tumors, which if one is not having any symptoms, but contrary to that, it adds a lot more anxiety. Sure, one can, if they have money, they could certainly do the PET CTs or the most advanced modalities. But it just adds more anxiety, especially when we're not even sure what we are looking at the scan. What I mean by that, if the patient is not truly having any symptoms and we see something, the next step is doing a biopsy. That adds complications. And if, say, for example, out of 1,000, we have one person who has been able to diagnose this, but if you were to stay on top of your screening modalities, one could have detected that either way. The only one which we get into trouble with, as I was talking to someone earlier, is pancreatic cancer or hepatocellular cancer, where we tend to diagnose them at later stages. But there have been many studies for that as well to test for CA19-9, which is a tumor marker. But that also can be elevated in some acute inflammatory concerns too. So there is no real solution to that at this point in time, but there's still ongoing research for that.
First of all, thank you for the excellent presentation. From a public health focus, I'm so happy always to see prevention. That's a key to much of this. But my question specifically is about screening in males, specifically men of color. What are we doing to increase the screening? Because that's for a long time been a major problem.
Thanks for addressing that, because that has been a talk at some of the clinical trial symposiums, especially was covered well in the ASCO as well, that a lot of the minorities get left behind because a lot of the clinical trial gets focused on the population where the institute is. And it does require a lot of education and spreading that important word and making sure the principal investigator who's tied up with the protocol, they do include people of all colors. So it is rather something that can be applied worldwide as opposed to one particular area. So that is sort of being looked at, and everyone is from clinical trial standpoint is being very mindful of now. Yeah, no worries.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Our community is very fortunate to have you here.
Pleasure.
That being the case, if you have a family history, our local physicians, have you seen an increase of them requesting those specific screenings?
Yes and no, because yes, in a sense that patients who are educated, they are questioning their physicians. However, if patients have not questioned and the physicians are being a bit more lenient, while there are one or the other sort of thing, then those can be missed. Yes, with UPMC itself, we, along with Tamara Hodges, have tied up with a company for genetics testing, whoever is coming in for breast cancer screening. So genetics can be tested if one is to get diagnosed at a particular age, and primary care physicians will be notified about that. And once we have detected that mutation, those patients can continue to get proper screening, and this company is going to provide the genetic counseling along with that. So that was not in existence before, but we are trying out with a pilot model with breast cancer and then extending out for other cancers.
Diagnose it at a late stage. But then earlier in the talk, you mentioned that you could have, is it a BRCA test for if it's in the family? How does that test help the diagnosis? I don't know how the two work together.
So BRCA testing, if one has to find out that the patient has particular mutation, in those cases, one should get the CA19 or the tumor marker testing to see if there is any concern of pancreatic cancer. Also, there are fine guidelines, which again, it's a controversial evidence where you could get a CAT scan annually to see if there is anything concerning from pancreatic standpoint or ultrasound, which does get missed on ultrasound, but rather CAT scans. So that is one modality. Now, there are some studies for liquid biopsy. What I mean by that is one can detect circulating tumor DNA in the bloodstream. So it's almost like a blood test, and we will be able to detect cancer on blood work. Yes, it is too preliminary right now. It is approved in stage 2 colon cancer patient population, where we used to give chemotherapy in some of these patient population. But now, if the circulating tumor DNA is negative, one can avoid chemotherapy because there is no tumor to begin with that one is going to treat. So there are more advancements coming to that, but at this point in time, imaging is the only modality. as well as the CA99, the tumor marker. But what's important is one can only go about this if one gets tested for this. And physicians need to get thorough history, but at the same time, onus falls on the patients as well to ask these questions and mention it to the physicians if they are not bringing it up.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gosain. This has been very enlightening, and I'm sure we have all learned a great deal today. I wanted you to know that one of Rotary's major international programs is to eradicate polio in the world. And in your honor, and thanks for your presentation today, we will make a donation in your name that will vaccinate 4 children who will never experience polio in their lives.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much. That truly means a lot.
So thank you so much. And remember this year's Rotary International theme, Create Hope in the World. And so with that, we are adjourned.